So all the examples that we have on our website are women entrepreneurs who have come to us from different stages of life, in different stages of their business. Some of them might have said, like, I only have an idea, I need to get started online, just help me do that. Some people have already come with an established website and questions like yours, like, I have so many followers, how do I, really convert them into sales, kind of a thing. So the whole program was based on identifying these kind of entrepreneurs, going through some of their problems, and then saying, hey, you know what, try this, it works, and then we kind of train others on the same basis itself. So this is, like you said, a one-hour training is not going to solve all your issues, but you can take in like some of the nuggets from here, try it out in your own websites, and then come back to us and say, okay, I tried this, here's my next question, how can you help me over there, right? And all of the materials, as I said, are available on the site, so feel free to go over there, check them out. There are like modules that we have taught. There are also self-learning materials which show you how to create your own website and so on, right? So just to kind of give a quick overview again, building your online presence is the main basics. We basically say, unless you have this right, naturally you're not going to make a huge impact online at all. So here we start with what do you need in your website to make sure it is actually converting, whether you are interested in more sales, whether you are interested in getting more leads for consultancy. What are some of the things that you need to absolutely have on your website to make it work? The second circle, collaborate effectively, especially if you work with a team, whether you contract out work or whether you hire team members to work with you. This will help you how to manage your documentation much better. Connect with your customers, as the question that you mentioned and a couple of others also mentioned. How do you make sure that you are able to convert those likes into actual sales, or how can you make sure that the people who are +1ing your site or +1ing your page are actually interested in your product and not just passing by and not really, will not ever convert into a customer at all. Promote your organization. This is a huge question that we get from everyone. If you are paying for advertisements, how do we make sure that it really works for us? So in this thing, we not only talk about paid advertisement, but also free ways to drive traffic to your website. And we basically talk about what are some of the things that you should be doing in addition to your paid campaigns in order to promote your organization better. And in the section on paid campaigns, we basically talk about how do you identify whether the campaign is working or not. And if you feel that you're kind of spending a lot more but not getting enough returns, what are some of the things that you can do in order to tweak your campaign? So you are in charge of your budget and you are in charge of your campaign completely. And the last one is the most important one, because as someone said, you spend a lot of time on all of these activities, whether you place an ad, whether you spend time on improving posts on your page, improving your website or anything of that sort. How much of that is really helping you turn that into sales? That's the last circle that we cover over here. So let me start with the first one, which is build your online presence. And here's what we are going to talk about. So when I talk about online presence, to many people, they have like a variety of variations of what an online presence is. For some people, just having an email address is an online presence. I am online, right? Someone has to email me in order to get in touch with me. So that's an online presence. For some people, it could just be a Facebook page, a Google Plus page, or a Twitter page. For some, it could be you have a website. For some, it has to be an e-commerce website, or it isn't a good online presence at all, and so on. So here we are going to talk about what does it really mean when you say an online presence, and what should your strategy be. At the end of the day, you as a business want to sell more, get more leads, want to make more money. What are some of the things that you need to do in order to make that possible? And if you already have a website, what are some of the things that you can cross-check to make sure if everything is working fine or not? So this is like the agenda that we are going to have for about the next 45 minutes or so. We'll talk about your online strategy, we'll talk about what you need in your website, your business page on social media, that's very important, and then your video channel. I'll talk about why video is important in these days, and then we'll just do a recap and then open up for questions. Okay, so when you talk about your online strategy, the first thing that many people think is one of these is enough. Like I can either have a website, I can either have like a plus page or a Facebook page, or I can have like a video channel and I am online. What we tell people, what we tell our entrepreneurs and what we have seen in successful entrepreneurs is you need to have an online strategy that includes your website, your plus page on your social media. This could be Facebook, this could be Google Plus, this could be Twitter. We actually recommend having a page on all major social networks, and you can go over and look at the connect with your customers section to see why we recommend that. And then of course video is very, very important in these days. So this is your online strategy. If you want to have an effective online presence, have a website, have a plus page or have a page on a social network, and have a video channel. And we'll talk about each of these in detail. Okay. So the first thing that you need to kind of think of when you're talking about your website is what are the things that you need to include in it. So anytime we talk about a website, it could be a simple website which just provides information to your users, or it could be an e-commerce website where you can check out products, make the purchase right then and there itself. But in each of these cases, here are some of the things that you absolutely need in your website. The first thing to kind of think about is the goal of your website. Why do you need the website in the first place? This is very important. So if you already have an existing website, go back, think about it, decide on why you are online in the first place. Is it because you want to increase sales? Is it because you want to increase brand awareness so that people, when they think of investments in Delhi, they think of your brand instead of just the generic term investments in Delhi? Is it because you want better leads, like you want to expand your reach? Jot that down. That's the most important part of it, because the success or failure of your online strategy will depend on that. So the first thing is, what is the goal of your website? Next, think of your target audience. If you have multiple target audiences, then create 2 separate sections on your website. Make it very clear for your audience on who the content has been created for. For example, if I'm an educational website and I offer materials for teachers and for parents, I will have 2 separate sections on my site, one for parents, one for teachers. So when a parent comes over to my site, they can clearly see what are some of the materials available, versus when it's a teacher, they see materials that are targeted just towards the teacher itself. And the third and most important part of it is, what do you want them to do once they are on your website? The call to action is very, very important. And this would of course tie back to the goal of your website, because if you want people to buy more of your products, your call to action will be buy this product, buy now, or check out, something of that sort. If your goal is to increase brand awareness, you're probably thinking of reshare this video with your friends, so they also are aware of my business offers this particular service, and so on. So the call to action is really, really important. So this overall is your overall strategy. The goal of your website, you should be very clear of what are the success metrics, what do you want the website to do in the first place, who is your target audience. If you have multiple target audience, create materials separately for each of them. And of course, the call to action. Basically, make sure that they know once they're on your site what they need to do. Whether it's checking out a product, whether it's requesting for a quote, whatever it is, make it very clear, spell it out on your site itself. Okay. So some of the things that people make mistakes on, especially when they have a new website. And we are going to walk through some of the what not to do as far as your website is concerned. Now, what you see over here is a basic page that you get as soon as you buy your domain name. So for example, if I buy poojasrinivas.com, but I don't have a website created on it at all, if I just type in the URL, that's what I'm going to get. Like a generic page with ads from the domain registrar. So the first lesson, especially if you're promoting your business, unless and until you have a functioning website, do not even start promoting it yet. Just a few weeks back, I saw a huge billboard which had like a fantastic message over there which said, "This is a great product, come and visit us on our website." And I was stuck in traffic for almost 10 minutes over there, so I knew what the website URL was. I type it in my phone and then I try to open it, and this is what I get. What has happened over here is the person who actually sent it for promotion did not even check whether there was a functioning site available or not. So all the money that they spent on that big billboard is wasted. So before you even send your website over to anyone else, do check if it's active or not. How many people have seen an under construction page in a website? Show of hands, right? Almost everyone. And this is very annoying for users because if you think about it, for your user, they are looking for an answer. They are either looking for a product, or they are looking for a service, or they are looking for ways to find help. They found your website somehow. It could be an ad, it could be on a search result, maybe a friend suggested it to them and they came over to your website. They were hoping that you could help them. And this is what they get instead. They don't care if you are going to bring a brand new spanking website in like 144 days or whatever. They don't care if your website is going to be available in the next 30 minutes. If it's not available now, they're just going to click on to some other website which has the information available now. The most common reason this happens is because people are so excited about like a redesign of their website, they go in and basically say, you know what, I'm going to shut down my old website. My brand new website is going to be so amazing that my users are going to be blown away. I'll increase sales by like 200%. But what they don't realize is they're losing out a lot of sales just by putting up this message. Your old website, even if it was bad, would still have brought you some sales because there would be some information available for the user to actually contact you. If you do have to put up an under construction page, at least put in like an email address that they can contact you at, or if you have a Facebook page, a Google Plus page, or a Twitter feed, put in those links over here so they at least know that you're around somewhere. It's not like a dead end for them. So if they're really interested in the product and someone has recommended it to them, they'll at least come back to you and say, hey, you know what, I tried finding this on your site. It's under construction. Can you at least help me overall? But just an under construction page, never include that. Just wait until your new website is ready and then switch it instead of shutting down your old website. Okay. Again, error pages. Random error pages like these are not at all helpful. So what you can do instead is add some personality to it. It's very easy to create customized error pages. And in this error page, you can also see that there's a navigation menu at top. So if the user does fall into like a page not found error or anything of that sort, they can at least go back to the main site in order to find more information about what you offer. Okay. Again, do not include too much information on the same page. As we mentioned earlier, it's very important for your user to understand what you offer and also what the call to action is. In this case, this was like 5 pages long. I just took a screenshot of one section. This guy is selling iron gates, but if you look at this, if I was a prospective customer, I wouldn't know where to click. I wouldn't be aware of so many product options. I wouldn't know what to do over here. I would probably scroll through this and leave. So no conversions, no sales. Instead, it doesn't cost much to add another page to your website. Just have multiple pages with a specific call to action. If you have 10 products, 10 different pages with product details, videos about the product, additional information, anything that can help your user understand what you're offering and figure out where to click in order to buy it. Okay. Another most important thing, and this usually happens when you get your website developed by someone else. In this case, the website looks really good. The only problem is this whole thing, including the text, is actually an image, which means that search engines cannot even read what's within the image. So while this person has included auto injuries, headaches, neck and back pain, a whole list of potential offerings, what he treats people for, none of this is going to be available when someone searches for it, mainly because this whole thing is just an image. So while you're working with your web developer, or if you're creating your own website, just make sure that you have enough text on the page for both users and search engines to be able to read what's on the page itself. And of course, almost all of us must have seen this, especially in low bandwidth cases. Make sure that your page loads fast and is accessible on all devices. This is a Flash website. I just took some screenshots from a Flash website. In areas where there are very low bandwidth, this is what your user will see if they try to access your site if it's just made of Flash. So make sure that it loads fast for people. Make sure it loads on all devices. If someone is on an iPad, which does not support Flash, they're not going to see your website at all. So if you do have to use Flash, use it for a small part of your website, not the whole website. In this case, there was no text version of the website at all, just a Flash version, which means you're losing out on a lot of users. I know Flash is much more prettier, you can do a lot more on it, but if it does not help your user find what they're looking for, it's not actually helpful to you at all. So do make sure that your website is accessible on all bandwidths, on all devices, and you have the right message for the user in each of those cases. Now moving on to your business page. Your business page, and this is really important, and the main reason that businesses are now on social networks is mainly because that's where all their customers are. So if you're selling investment for women, and then you can see that there is a group of women who are discussing investments, who are discussing financial issues, naturally that's where you need to be in order to find your target audience. And given the time that we as users spend on social media, it's certainly a good place for businesses to be in order to connect with their audience, not just send them messages all the time, not just buy my product or visit my site, but actually engage with them and add value over there. So your website basically is something that you're not going to change for a considerable period of time, at least for 6 months or so. If you don't make any changes to your website, it's certainly acceptable. You might probably add new products here and there, but you might not do like a huge revamp or anything of that sort as far as your website is concerned. Your business pages, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn, or any of the other social networks, gives you an opportunity to include more dynamic content. Something that can interest and engage your audience on a regular basis, instead of just having a one-time information over there. The goal of your social media pages is not to collect +1s and likes. It's basically to engage your customer and then send them over to your website where there's a call to action, where they will actually convert into a buyer itself, right? Here's an example. For example, if I have If I have a website where I offer like garments online, I'm a designer, I offer garments online. What I would use is my website for displaying all my products. I'll probably have like a shopping cart over there. I would have a call to action, which a website where I offer like garments online. I'm a designer, I offer garments online. What I would use is my website for displaying all my products. I'll probably have like a shopping cart over there. I would have a call to action, which is buy now or 50% discount if purchased within blah 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 kind of a thing. And then on my plus page, on my Google Plus page, I would probably write an article, a quick note on what are some of the fashion tips, or how do you tie a scarf in 50 ways, or something of that sort. And then direct people to the scarf section on my site where they can buy the product as soon as they have seen the video. So the goal of your page is basically to engage users, not just to collect likes or plus ones. So it wouldn't help if you buy likes from someone else, because naturally that's not going to be a target audience. Rather, you should be posting engaging content that can help targeted customers come over and engage with you better. And we'll go through an examples in a bit. The other thing, as someone over here asked, how do you link your website with your plus pages, your Facebook pages, or your Twitter pages? So the first thing is, every single of these networks offers like a small piece of code that you can add to your pages.